and welcome to That Is Nice. Happy 4th of July. Let's start out with something surprising. You won't believe the youngest person to have signed the Declaration of Independence. But first, there is something written on the back of the Declaration of Independence. Is it a treasure map? Is it a secret code? Is it the Illuminati all-seeing eye? No, in fact, it's actually just written saying the original copy of the Declaration of Independence dated July 4th, 1776. No one knows who wrote it, but it's there. So why do we celebrate this holiday? Well, we actually celebrate it because, I'm sure we all know what it is, but we celebrate it because John Adams wrote a letter to his wife and declared that, quote, the signing of the Declaration of Independence will be a great anniversary festival, solemnized with pomp and parade, in skews, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations. So, what is it, first of all? Well, Continental Congress declared the 13 colonies of America are going to regard themselves as a new nation called, guess, what do you think it is? The United States of America. And they were no longer a part of the British Empire. So whose idea was this? Let's see. July 1st, 1776, the Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia and voted on Richard Henry Lee's motion for independence. Now, how was the vote? What did it turn out like? Well, let's look at this. There was 13 colonies, so there would be 13 votes. The vote was 12 voted for independence. Why not 13? Why wasn't it unanimous per se? Well, it was unanimous. New York abstained from the vote. However, on July 19th, they were on board. So the original bandwagoners, you could call them. When did the British first hear about this? I was thinking, and I have no idea because it takes about 2 months to travel from the colonies to England at that time. So just imagine the British guy who hears that they want to declare their independence. And he's like, oh, he's all angry. He goes, I must tell the king. I must tell the king. Then he gets on his boat like this for 2 months. And then he goes to the king and he tells him. Could have just Amazon Primed it over to him, but I guess not. Imagine shipping. Imagine trying to ship something back then. It would take weeks just to travel like 100 miles to get something to someone. I can only imagine. So, who was the oldest signer of the DOI? And that would be Benjamin Franklin, and he was 70 years old. Now, who was the youngest? The youngest might surprise you. His name was Edward Rutledge. He was a lawyer from the South, and when he signed, he was only 26. At 26 years of age, making decisions that were going to leave our oppressors. At 26 years of age. What are you doing at 26 years of age? Probably not that. So there's a little bit of background of the 4th of July. We love explosions, we love guns, we love fireworks. This is America. So John Adams would be happy. So the Northeast, however, has been way too hot. So hot, in fact, that it's left me afraid to get in a car and afraid to get out of a car. Afraid to get in the car because the car, you sit into the car and you're cooking. You are literally cooking. The car is maybe 30 degrees hotter than anything else outside. And you drive and it cools down. It finally gets to a comfortable temperature when you get to where you need to go. So there's no point. Afraid to get out of the car because of the copious swamp ass that the heat from a seat will leave you with. It sucks. It really does suck. Doesn't matter what you. First thing is your back sweats. Your back sweats like crazy, and then all that back sweat travels south, and the only thing south from your back is the crack of your ass. And you get out of a car, and everybody knows what it is, but it seems like I'm the only one, because no one else has these moist lines of the side effect of heat. These are the moist, dampened, darkened lines that look like it's a design on some pants or shorts I bought. And I'm the only one that has them. So either I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know the secret to hide it like everyone else. It happens to me. I'm sure it happens to other people. And during the Declaration of Independence, what did they do when it was this hot? Because a lot of the colonies, remember, are in the Northeast. What did they do? There's no air conditioning. Okay, so let's see. What could you do? You can sit in the shade. But what is that going to do? You're going to sit under a tree when it's hot. How much colder is it under a tree? Yeah, it's a little bit colder, but if it's 100 degrees, it doesn't matter. If it's humid, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's see. What are your other options? Maybe you live next to a pond or a river if you live in some type of town. But for a lot of people, how far is that? It's not like you have pools in your backyard. It's not like you have cold running water. What do you do? Because you can't get in your car and drive there. You got to walk there. So in the process of trying to go get colder, you're going to get a lot hotter. Even if they didn't have cars, but if they did, they wouldn't have AC. Can you imagine sitting in a car without AC and driving to a far place? That's hell. That's hell. AC doesn't work fast enough. So I've had to adopt to a lifestyle that I'm not very keen on, and I went to my girlfriend and I said, You're not going to hear me ask this again. I braced her. I didn't want her to die of shock. I said, where are my flip-flops? I don't wear flip-flops. I don't wear flip-flops because I don't like walking and then hearing every time I walk, because I'm not a horse. I'm not a horse galloping somewhere. I can't stand it because all I can focus on is that sound. And they don't look good. It's like that student who does bad in class but still graduates. It meets the very bare minimums of a shoe. They're a shoe. They protect your feet, but that's about all they do. They don't need to flop. The fact they're called flip-flops is unattractive. The name in itself is unattractive, but people wear them constantly. And I gave into them, and then, I like them. I wear them. I wore them twice. I wore them the next day too. But thinking about previous summers, I remember it was like 1 or 2 summers ago that Pokemon Go was the thing. You would see people outside constantly in groups. Like, I've never seen this many people outside in towns for this long in my entire life. More than like the Pokemon Go epidemic. And I wonder how that came about. If it was like a negotiation between like the board of parents and the board of children, saying, the parents going, you need to go play outside more, and the kids, the rebuttal is, I'll go outside if as long as I get to look at everything through a phone screen. That's the only way I'm playing outside, is if I get to only look at stuff through a phone screen and I get to hunt something that's fake. So it worked. I don't know what happened now. I don't think anybody plays it now. But it was a big deal that like people would bond over that. Like nationalism at that time was probably the highest it's ever been. I don't know. But something that bugs me is if somebody tells you something and they tell you it quietly and you go, what? Because you don't hear them. And then they repeat the same thing at the same amount of decibels. The same decibels. So again, you go a little bit more annoyed. You go, what? And the third time, same level, same volume level. So you say to them, I can't hear you. So they go, oh, okay. So they'll talk like maybe half a decibel louder. Still don't hear them. No, don't say it to me the same volume. Say it louder. If I didn't hear you the first time, it doesn't mean I didn't understand what you said. It means I didn't hear what you said. I knew you were saying something. I'm looking right at you. I don't hear you. Don't do that, I guess, is the tip of the day. So that's all. I'm trying to keep this one short because I have some stuff to do. But thank you for watching and have a good night.